And just remember, so happy Sabbath, everyone. Howdy.
Shabbat shalom.
Howdy, Kelly. Howdy, Landon. Howdy, Jim. Welcome to Word Redeux number 116. Today we're starting the book of Ruth, chapter 1 and 2.
Ooh.
Before we get to chapter 3, Boaz will be ruthless.
Dang it. I was going to say that.
I stole your thunder.
Yeah, pretty much.
How was everybody's week?
Busy.
Good. Busy's
You know, the nice thing about, my mom's in town, and the nice thing about that is that it kind of forces me to take her places, which means that, I went and saw some places I've never been to before,
Yeah.
So exploring's been kind of fun.
I didn't know we lived next to the Lewis and Clark Trail.
Well, it's not that ignorant, but well, I've never seen that squirrel in Marmot before at 8,000 feet. So
yeah. So cool. Well, let's go ahead and pray in, and then we'll get rolling. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for giving us this time to come together for fellowship and studying your word, edification, learning, and refocusing upon you. We're very grateful for that, and we thank you for that. We ask your blessing and to pour your spirit out on everybody that's here now and in the future, that they have the discernment and knowledge to get the message that you need them to have. And we also, as Jesus told us, we are praying that you let us escape the things that are coming and things that are happening. Yeah. And just remind us to keep eyes on you. We would also ask for those people that are getting sick again for whatever reason, ask you to heal them and recover them, let them recuperate fully for whatever we have planned ahead. And thank you. Bless you in Jesus Yeshua's name. Amen. Okay. What was it? Who was going first? Oh, that's right. Kelly, hold on. Let me get this all prepped here. Yeah. Doink. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Ruth chapter 1.
Now we've got to do Ruth chapter 1. There. And then let me share it so people can read if they don't got nothing. There we go.
good grammar done be spoken here.
That's right. All right. Ruth chapter 1.
Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the county of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Euphrates and Bethlehem, Judea. And they came into country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of women of Moab. The name of the one was Oprah, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard the country of Moab, how the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her two daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands?
Turn back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, would you therefore wait till they were grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me. Then they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. But Ruth said, Do not urge me to leave you or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do to me and more also, if anything but death parts me from you. And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. So the two of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they came to Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women said, Is this Naomi? She said to them, Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara. For the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her, who returned from the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest.
Ruth 2. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, Let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, Go, my daughter. And she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, The Lord be with you. And they answered him, The Lord bless thee. Then said Boaz unto his servant that was set over the reapers, Whose damsel is this? And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, It is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and hath continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, Hearest thou not, my daughter? Go not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that they shall not touch thee? And when thou art athirst, go unto the vessels, and drink of that which the young men have drawn. And she fell on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and said unto him, Why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldst take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger? And Boaz answered and said unto her, It hath faithfully been showed me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother, and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knewest not heretofore.
The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wing thou art come to trust. Then she said, Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for that thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thine handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thine handmaidens. And Boaz said unto her, At mealtime come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed, and left. And when she had risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young man, saying, Let her glean even amongst the sheaves, and reproach her not. And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. So she gleaned in the field until even, and beat out that she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. And she brought forth and gave to her that she had reserved after she had sufficed. And her mother-in-law said unto her, Where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, The man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, Blessed be he of the Lord, who hath not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, The man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. And Ruth the Moabitess said, He said unto me also, Thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, It is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz, to glean until the end of the barley harvest and of the wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother-in-law. May the Lord bless the reading of his word.
All right. Let's go back to Ruth chapter 1, shall we? Yeah, and check this out.
Oh.
So, this is taking place in the days that the judges ruled, right? Just finished the book of Judges. And let's see.
And everyone was still doing right in their own eyes, sadly.
Well, true. Which is why they went and took Moabitess women.
Yes.
But who was the dude that got married?
Elimelech.
Elimelech. All right. So
And it's interesting. Do you know what the meaning of his name is?
What is his name?
It's Eli, my God, Melech, king. So basically it's saying, my God is king.
Very interesting.
So, here on No King Day, we still know who the king is.
This is true. So what do we got? We go on. Elimelech dies.
Yes.
And so basically Naomi's like, oh, just leave me alone. You guys or you gals are young. Go find yourself new husbands of the Moabites. And Ruth refuses. She refuses. But she makes an interesting declaration, right?
Yes.
So,
Well, go on. Tell us, what's the declaration, Jonathan?
In 16, right?
Yes.
Entreat me not to leave you, to return from following after you, for where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. So, and she continues on. But that there is her agreeing to all the terms and conditions that we've read about up to this point, where all of Israel said, these things we will do.
Yes.
So it's almost kind of like, what do they call that? When you take a branch from one tree and you mix it with the branch of another tree. What is that?
She's grafted in?
She's grafted in. Oh my goodness.
I seem to have read that in Romans somewhere.
Huh. It's almost like we're dealing with the same rules that were applied back then, applying now.
Yes.
Huh.
You mean God is the same yesterday, today, and forever?
Yep.
Wow.
That's actually Hebrews 8. But there it says Jesus Christ.
Who is God? Spoiler alert. If you haven't read the end of the book yet.
Oh, nothing spoils with that preservative.
Yes, exactly. Eternal life alert.
So very interesting. So we got Ruth
then,
goes with Naomi, and they return to where?
Bethlehem, the house of bread, or the bread house.
Bethlehem. Where have I
the
heard
bread of
that
life
name?
came from.
Where's that come from before?
And it's interesting. They use the term nativity, so I mean, I automatically think of the pagan holiday.
Does that mean they're native? Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
But it's interesting. I want to go back to something that the paleo for Ruth is resh, and then it's vav and tet, which means her head was grounded in the cross. So kind of points to the faith there and her lineage.
Very interesting. Well, also too, the Moabites were descended from, who was that guy?
Moab.
Who was descended from, wasn't it Lot?
Lot.
So I'm guessing that this
Kind
is at least
people were
10
kind of salty,
generations.
right?
Huh?
These people were kind of salty, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing that this is at least 10 generations after the Sodom and Gomorrah incident.
Oh yeah.
Right. That being that someone of mixed descendancy cannot enter into the congregation.
Yes.
And yet we have her entering into the congregation right here, which is pretty awesome. And that, so this is a very straight to the point sort of book. So let's go to chapter 2. Capítulo 2, for those of you that only speak Spanglish.
Or Stein for you Hebrew speakers out there.
So now we start talking about, we open up with kinsmen of her husband, right? Of Naomi's husband, that is also of the family of Elimelech, and his name is Boaz.
Mm-hmm.
That means we're going to be left on a cliffhanger today. Now, notice too, though, in chapter, is it this chapter?
We're in chapter 2 right now.
Well, I think it started in chapter 1, talking about the barley was come up ripe, right? Yes, they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest, but then someone decided to translate barley as corn almost the whole way through this chapter.
It makes it a corny translation.
True.
Oy.
True. So that is quite a bit, though, right? When she starts gleaning this, she gets the first day she gets like a whole ephah, which, if I recall correctly, that is about, it's close to a bushel. I think somewhere close to a bushel.
And that's why Naomi was highly impressed because, you got to remember people were doing what was right in their own eyes.
Yeah.
And okay, so technically we have to be able to let them glean the edges. And but if they're doing what's right in their own eyes, it's just like, okay, well, you took too much, so you're gleaning too much. where Boaz showed. I think we saw the word grace in here, and I need to find out what verse that is because I'm not sure if that's Hesed or Rachum. It could be mercy,
Right.
or Hin, which is favor. So, but if it is actually Hesed, I mean that makes it even that much better. She gets what she's not deserving.
Right. And technically, why would she be?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. She even acknowledges she's a stranger.
She's a goyim.
Where have we heard that recently? Let's see. So got measures of length. I'm sorry, I'm going through the Smiths for weights and measures.
Yeah, and that word there is hen, which means favor. It's not really grace like Ephesians 2:8-9 is translated as grace. It is favor. So she found favor with Boaz.
Right? Okay, there we go. Ipa. Oh, it doesn't say in this. Well, that was a waste of time.
Interesting about the word favor, because the first time we see this word is that Noah found favor in the Lord's eyes. That same word, hen. And so think of the life-saving of the ark, and here we have the life-saving of Boaz.
Right. Yeah, it's very, very interesting in that. So he says, let her do the reaping and even drop some extra so that she can pick it up.
Right. Oops, I dropped some. Oh, so sorry.
Hey, if that means I don't have to pick it up, right?
Yeah.
If I don't have to carry that much, so they're probably dropping a whole bunch, huh? Oops. No, that would be amazing, though. So look at what he's doing here, too, though. He is also fulfilling the law in taking care of the widows.
Yes.
In a roundabout kind of way.
Yeah, and a double portion of that, because Ruth is a widow and Naomi is a widow.
Right.
So.
Yep, that is very true.
And I also want to point out chapter 2, verse 1, and Naomi had a kinsman. And so something, maybe a little homework for tonight is, or this week, is to understand what a kinsman redeemer is, as well as what the requirements were for a kinsman redeemer, and how this explains why Yeshua had to become flesh, had to become human and tabernacle amongst us. Because it also ties in with Yom Kippur being two like sacrifices, and one stays face towards the temple while the other goes out to the wilderness of sin. So this all ties into the book of Ruth. So a little background in that will help you understand this book much better.
Very true. Which brings me to a question for next time, but about kinsman redeemer and his whole purpose. So that all right, anything else noticed in this? I'm just running through it once again really quick, just kind of speed reading the second half of the chapter. Okay.
There.
I can read you the meaning of the redeemer if you want.
And once again in verse 13 we see more favor. They didn't translate it as grace this time. They translated it as favor. I wonder why they translated the same Hebrew word two different ways.
Well, it makes it more readable.
Yeah. Well, I really, you guys know my pet peeve. They took grace out of the Old Testament when they translated it because of this replacement theology crap. So that's why, we see that God shows mercy to the thousands who keep his commandments instead of God shows grace to the thousands who love him and keep his commandments. So, we have legitimate grace within the 10 commandments. So it's not this Old Testament is law. It's the Old Testament is the Torah, which is something we feed upon, something we feast on.
So found it. Ephah is equivalent to about 40 liters or 9 gallons.
That's a lot of bread.
That's a lot of grain. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of barley. We are going to be eating barley soup for a long time, Mother.
But think of the advantage of that though, having that much barley. If you go to a millstone, there's always, there's usually a fee to use the millstone. And with that, if they don't have any money, how can they get that ground down? But with that much, they can say, "Hey, we've got these 9 gallons. Why don't we give you 2 to pay for your services?" And so, it's like, and there's probably, think about it. Don't we also have to give a tithe? Weren't they giving a tithe on what they were giving? So that way they could take some to the priest too. So that just shows the favor of the Lord, that it's just more than just, hey, we're just giving you your meal for the day, but we're giving you your meal. We're also giving you a way to get it processed, and we're also giving to you the portion that needs to go to the priests as part of the tithe.
Well, don't forget too. Also, with tithe, there was, what was it? Every third year, give to the poor, the fatherless, and the widows.
Sure.
So there's that too. And that, yes, like a 50-pound bag. I'll figure it like this too. If it's 9 gallons, you got those 5-gallon gas cans, jerry can, the army cans.
Right.
Almost 2 of those.
And she had to schlep it home too. That must have been a pretty heavy load.
Ruth must have been jacked.
They were hardy.
Yeah, she was ripped. Oh, yeah, Ruth.
They have her.
Who is this ripped damsel? Yeah, good point, Lynn. A gallon of milk is 8 pounds. Wheat's a little bit lighter than milk. I don't know what the weight is for barley, but per gallon by measure.
Well, it's probably less than that.
Yeah.
Aviation fuel is 6 pounds a gallon.
Yeah. So, but thinking, you've got 20 some pounds on each jerry can there full of barley. So, she's bringing home 40 some pounds with her.
She probably did the
water too. So that's
probably
a lot.
Did the little girl thing, like when you first have little girls wearing dresses, where they pick up the hem of it and then whatever they want to carry, they put it inside the dress and use it like a soft basket sort of thing.
Sure. That's a lot of weight on that fabric, though. I don't know if you'd want to. Fabric being kind of a scarcity back then, I don't know if you'd want to risk that.
I don't think it was a scarcity. I think that's the prototype that they plant in our head from movies and stuff. Look, they're all just dirty dirt desert dwellers.
Oh, gotcha. Crystal says the technical term for that is called an apron.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
man.
I'm glad to see my wife finally got out of bed. She had a rough night last night. Morning, Crystal.
Whatever that women technology is.
Yes.
Or terminology. There we go. There I go, man. Getting lost. Big word in it. Not that apron's a big word. One fancy.
But a big apron probably would have been useful.
Truth for Ruth.
Wow.
All right.
What's in our coffee this morning?
Yeah, this kind of closes out with, let her harvest every day.
Right.
And then they go not only from the end of the barley harvest, they go into the wheat harvest as well.
So, if I remember right, the barley harvest is an earlier harvest, and isn't the wheat harvest a late?
It's a
later harvest.
Isn't that essentially what Pentecost started out as? Was the wheat harvest? Right.
Yeah, and
counting of the Omer.
Yeah, and it wasn't the barley the first fruits. That was the poor person. So, with Yeshua being the first fruits of the resurrection.
Right. But then as ascension, 50 days later.
Right.
Uh-huh.
There's so many tie-ins here. You know,
There
like Dorona likes to say, it's all connected.
Si, senor.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for Ruth 1 or 2? Anybody?
Come on, Landon. Come on, Kelly. Chime in, brothers.
They're just going over barley recipes in their head right now.
Yeah.
Beef barley stew with some barley biscuits.
Well, we know that she didn't make the beer because the Bible gave us the book of Hebrews, not she brews.
The beer is
Sorry, these are the jokes. Thank you, Kelly, for the courtesy laugh. I appreciate it, brother.
Okay. So that pretty much wraps it up. Stay away from government facilities and other places. Today, downtown LA, well, any big city really.
No, they're busing them into Salmon, Idaho. Our population is less than 10,000 people. For our county, which is the size of, well, it's bigger than New Hampshire,
Right.
or Rhode Island, and they're actually busing people in to protest here because they're trying to stir it up.
Is there an ice facility there?
No, there isn't.
How do you guys keep things cold? Okay.
We live in the Rocky Mountains. Just put it outside in a bear-proof box, and you're pretty good to go.
All right. This is true. This is true. So, all right. Well, thanks for reading, Kelly. Thanks for reading, Landon. Thanks for reading, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Everybody that have a beautiful day. Get your rest on. Until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and well, we'll see you next time.
Hey, should they check out c2kreport.com? Would that be a good
Yes,
idea?
actually, they should.
They should come out of Babylon.
Yeah, check out c2kreport.com, and I'm sure that link will appear mysteriously in the chat.
Because Lynn is always so good about that. There she is.
Yay!
Thanks, Lynn. You rock.
That okay. So, at any rate, everybody, thanks for coming. Love you all. We'll talk soon. Bye.
God bless.
Bye.